JFD, just fair and direct.
Okay, hello and good morning everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Espresso with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today is the 3rd of November 2021, so welcome everyone. Welcome to this Wednesday's morning session where we're going to have a very quick look at the markets, a few of the charts, the usual stuff. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, I'll give you a few seconds to read the rest and we can continue. Okay, so now then, also just before we jump into the charts, as always, quick mentioning of our JFD YouTube channel, to which you can always subscribe to in order not to miss any of our upcoming videos, and of course our JFD Bank website, and specifically our JFD research page, which we also update on a daily basis. So you can check us out here on jfdbank.com and click on the research tab right there on the top. So now then, jumping into the chart, so normally I start off with Nikkei, but it's Nikkei, well, Japan is on holiday today, so Nikkei is closed. Shanghai Composite Chinese Index here, so drifted a little bit more to the downside. However, this is what I talked about yesterday. Basically, keep your eyes on this 200-day EMA, because so far, as you can see, it is doing its job in providing support. We did get another kind of, I would say, maybe false breakout here, but then the index got pushed back up, back above this 200-day EMA. If you're looking for some further downside, well, at least wait for that index to at least close below that 200-day EMA, because at the moment there is a hold up here, and we're keeping a close eye on it just to see what's going to happen further. And if it does eventually drop and stay below that 200-day EMA, this increases the chances for a further move lower. However, don't get me wrong, I mean, it might go a little bit down here, maybe find support somewhere here and then reverse back up again, but in general, the probability kind of increases, and yep, we could see a further move to the downside on this one. In case this decides to reverse back up and pushes back above the 3,000, somewhere above this 3,553 territory, now that's where it could become a little bit more interesting for a few more buyers. The German index DAX, so getting slowly closer to that to that all-time high. So as you can see, what I mentioned to you yesterday, for example, was that if it stays above that 15,792 territory, then yes, we'll continue targeting the upside. And well, I mean, it did happen, so it stayed above it and it continued to push north. So we're now getting closer to the to that all-time high. The cash index, let me just quickly check that one. The cash index is currently sitting at around 15,945 levels, so basically just slightly below yesterday's close, but still looking quite positive, guys. So keep that in mind. For now, like I said, we'll continue aiming higher, and let's see how all this is going to play out. The S&P 500, so the US equities or the US equity markets and the US indices continue to rally, and especially the indices continue to create these new all-time highs. Again, of course, we all do know that at some point it will have to correct lower, for example, as it did here, and here, for example, in the beginning of September, it traveled higher, but then it reversed down. So again, although it's very tempting to go short in this one right now, but I would rather wait for a clear clear indication, a clear signal for that before kind of, let's say, considering that option. At the moment, if just let me remove this line here. At the moment, looking at this index in particular, first of all, we are continuing to climb, yes, and the current all-time high sits around 4,635 level. If we take a look at the cash index, we will see that the price is currently sitting at around 4,625, so slightly below yesterday's peak and the all-time high. But nevertheless, still kind of looking quite promising here. I would say this way. I mean, if it starts pushing above this yesterday's high and the current all-time high near the 4,635 level, then yes, of course, we'll go for some higher levels. This will confirm a forthcoming higher high, and a new all-time high would be confirmed. Now, in terms of the downside on this one, probably this level here that I recently just removed, this 4,598 level, or we can round it up towards the 600. So a drop below that 4,600 territory might invite a few more sellers into the game, guys, but this move lower could be classed as a temporary correction because at the moment we're still kind of trading, let's say, above this 21-day EMA, which could provide support, and we saw in the past that it can sometimes do its job and either provide support or resistance, but either way, guys, for now, long story short, and we are, let's say, on the cash index, we are currently stuck around here. If it drops below that 4,600 territory, then maybe we could consider a bit of a corrective move lower. However, everything's looking quite positive here for now, so let's see how all this is going to play out. Of course, the most important, guys, today, keep your eyes later on, keep your eyes on the economic calendar, and especially, of course, on the Fed's interest rate decision. I mean, there's no, of course, no expectation there, but no surprises there. The rate might remain the same, but of course, keep your eyes on the statement and the press conference as well. So that's where it could become a little bit more interesting here in the market. DXY dollar index, so yep, it's a little bit choppy here. I mean, and also I said to you yesterday that I'm gonna take a bit of a neutral stand on this one because, again, this is not ideal for me. I don't really like such scenarios, but again, let's wait for that perfect moment. For now, some of you might say maybe this is forming somewhat of a possible maybe flag, or actually more of a pennant, but yes, could be the case. However, still a break is needed, a breakout is needed, and for me, we'll consider maybe some higher levels if we do pop somewhere above this 94.17 level. For now, I'm just, like I said, observing the price action on this one. Gold is well, again, being annoying. So first of all, probably it's time to get rid of this downside line. No longer needed. Because it got violated a few times, and it seems that, yep, the commodity is not really respecting that one. So for now, I will stick to some of the levels here. Now, in terms of the upside, basically, let me just put this one on the chart. Basically, something like this here could be monitored, this downside line, taken from the high of the 22nd of October. And if we do break this downside line, then higher levels could be met. However, still certain confirmation breaks would be needed. In this case right now, I would like to see maybe at least a push above this 1800 level. And now, yesterday, if you remember, I talked about the this 1810 zone, but as you can see, we're now kind of drifting a little bit more to the downside. So maybe this psychological 1800 level could become an interesting level to keep an eye on. So, but still, even if we do pop above that, we do have those levels, that other ones that I mentioned, the 1810 and the 1814. For the downside, now, although it seems like it wants to move a little bit lower here, still the Still, I would prefer to wait maybe for a drop below that 1772 territory first, and then consider maybe slightly lower levels. Yeah, Evo, I can see you. Good morning to you too. I hope you're having a wonderful start of this day. Now, jumping into silver very quickly. So silver, this one's a little bit more clear, to be honest. I mean, this one's leaning a little bit more towards the downside here. As you can see, it also fell below this 23.60 territory, the one that I kept on talking about. And yesterday, when I was talking about this commodity, I said that we are still here, and although yes, it was kind of still saying giving that chance for the bulls, because we were holding to above that upside line. But what I said to you, that be very cautious, because we are quite close to that upside line, and in a way it could break, and it did happen. It broke and it fell lower and moved lower, and the most important, it kind of dropped below that 23.60 territory, the one that I kept talking about, and basically yeah, we stayed below it. So now it looks a little bit more on the bearish side, of course. So if it does move further south, then of course we'll have to just aim for some lower levels here, and one of my next targets could be this 23 territory, and then we'll take it from there. Now, jumping into Wti Oil, so all the discussions that we had yesterday about it. So about the bearish and the bullish three method. Also, if you're maybe you have heard the other naming of that, it's also called the falling or rising three method. So basically, in this situation here, when it's in this situation, we have a rising three method pattern, and basically that means that it could be a continuation move. So but at the moment in this case, I mean, it's not really a huge continuation move here, because normally, let's say if something like this would happen, let's say on a huge downtrend, and then you get something like this, then we get three consecutive candles, the bodies of those three consecutive candles stay inside the body of that bigger drop here, then yes, we have a reversal, a potential reversal here, and we kind of got that reversal. It drifted lower. In a way, it could still move to the downside, but here I will be very careful near this upside line, near this 21-day EMA. So either way, basically the outlook still doesn't change much, but just from the shorter term perspective, it kind of, I would say, partially worked out, but I would like this one to be a little bit a bigger drop. So that's what I'm saying. It's it did end up in negative territory, but for a much clearer kind of pattern, I would like this candle to be a little bit bigger to the downside. However, well, I mean, it is how it is. It's, I would say, for now I'm leaning a little bit more towards the downside, but only in the near term, because it fell below that 83 territory. If it stays below that 83 territory, my next target is the 21-day EMA together with this upside line, taken from the low, the 23rd of August, and then we'll take it from there. So the so-called rising three method, or the bullish three method, bullish three pattern, did kind of partially work out. So like I said, now let's see if it can maybe work out a little bit better. If it, especially like I said, if it stays below this 83 territory, then yep, we could see maybe a bit of a move towards this 21-day EMA or this upside support line. If it starts popping somewhere above this 83.81 level, somewhere around here, I will slowly start aiming higher, but I'll be very careful. Now, Ethereum, very quickly on that one. So of course, a new all-time high. So after we formed a new all-time high here on the 29th of October, yesterday the crypto went higher, overcame that level, and yep, and today, as you can see, it once again kind of hit new all-time highs. So basically we're kind of sitting somewhere near this level, the 4,600, and let me just bear with me 4,642 zone. So if you're looking for some upside, then certainly go slowly on this one. I mean, and if it clears this current all-time high, then yes, higher levels might be met. For the downside, now this is where some levels need to be adjusted. So let me just drag this one. Actually, I'm gonna keep this one for now. This is the highest point of May of this year. And for the downside, what I'll pick here is I'll go with this little hurdle here, the current lowest point of this week, and that's roughly around that 4,152 level. So if we drop below this, and we drop below that 21-day EMA, then yep, that's where maybe a few more sellers could join in, because at the moment this 21-day EMA is also providing good support. So yeah, let's keep that in mind. But yeah, let's go slowly on this one, although it's very tempting to short this one, but again, sometimes it's better to kind of wait and wait for that signal, guys. Wait for that reversal signal, but at the moment we're not really getting that. So yeah, you will definitely have your opportunity. Litecoin. So Litecoin is looking quite positive, and yep, it managed to break this downside line taken from the high of the 21st of October. So we now cleared this little hurdle, the high of the 27th of October near the 204. Well, actually, let's round up here, 205 zone, and now we're on our way to. It seems like we're on our way to test the highest point of October near the 214.65 zone. So that's what I'm going to be aiming for right now. If we stay above this 205 zone, then yes, like I said, that's my target, the highest point of October, and then we'll slowly take it from there. Now jumping into a few pairs, so Aud and Zd, so one of my favorite ones. You can see that this hurdle, this 1.043835 zone, excuse me, did provide support, and we are seeing now a little retracement here. I'm sorry guys for going blank there a little bit, just got something stuck in my throat. So, okay, coming back into this, if you remember, I was talking about this one, and basically what I said yesterday, that yes, everything's kind of working according to the plan, the initial plan here, and we got a hold up near this area. And what I also said, that we might get that little false breakout as well. So we got that, and we got that little false breakout. But as you can see, the body of the daily candle still remained above this area. So this kind of just confirms maybe more how important this area is. This 1.04, actually 0.18 zone. Today we saw a hold up near this area, from which the pair rebounded slightly. Again, let's first of all get rid of this arrow here, and again, if you're looking for some downside on this one, then wait for a decent drop below this 1.0418. If we do get that eventually, then well, I mean, we could see this one drifting further south, but at the moment I would recommend to take a bit of a careful approach, and you maybe a neutral one. And if you're looking for some upside, well, for the upside, I would need to see maybe a push above this 1.05 territory, somewhere around here, and then we could go for some higher levels. But at the moment, all this area for me will be somewhat of a neutral one. Now jumping into this one, and yeah, so you can see that the AUD did drift lower nicely to the downside yesterday, and most importantly, it found support near that 23.6% retracement at the Fibonacci. And yeah, let's see what's going to do next, because at the moment, what I don't want to see here is maybe a possible range forming, but again, maybe that's a bit too early to talk about. However, let's keep everything in kind of as a decent possibility. I mean, like, everything can be possible. So in other words, if let's say if it starts moving sideways here and let's say rebounds right now from this 84.60 6160 zone right here, then well, we could see this one maybe pushing back up again, so keep that in mind. I had this upside line here, but to be honest, it's so tentative that probably I'm gonna remove it, and I'm gonna draw something like this instead. So let's see if we're not gonna form eventually some sort of a descending triangle pattern here. However, maybe that's a little bit too early to talk about. So for now, let's keep an eye on this one, and yeah, let's see if it can rebound from here and move higher again and move north here. If it starts falling below that 23.6% retracement in the Fibonacci here, which is around that 84.53 zone, then well, I mean, this is where we'll start aiming for lower areas. Initially aiming for that 38.2% retracement on the Fibonacci near the 83.45 level, and then so on. And then we'll take it from there, of course. USD Cad very quickly on this one. So broke the downside line, stayed above it, and now it's struggling with this 1.2422 zone. I mentioned this before, and also struggling with that 21-day EMA. So in order to aim for some higher levels, then yes, a break of that this area is needed. If we clear that, then well, I'll aim for the upside, and also a lot will depend on how oil is going to trade. If oil is going to start drifting lower, then well, we could see this pair pushing nicely to the upside. So yeah, that's basically kind of it with USD Cad, to be honest. I mean, also of course the keep your eyes on the FOMC tonight, guys. So if in a way, maybe in one way, I mean, it could see that USD Cad could drift lower. However, if suddenly the dollar takes a hit, then well, we could see this one drifting back down. And another thing, probably it's time to get rid of this downside line. And at this point, let's focus on a possible little range here, so which is somewhere around like around here. Again, it's not an ideal one, but it'll be probably a little bit easier to see, let's say, to gauge yourself here. So for the downside, for example, I would need to see a drop below this area, below this 1.2311, and then I would go for lower levels. For the upside, I would need to see a push above this area, above this 1.2423, and above this 21-day EMA, and then yeah, we would take it from there. GBP NZD. So this one had a nice little reversal here, and let me just mark this area right here. So it reversed from the 1.90 territory, maybe just fractionally below it, and yep, pushed higher. So let's probably have a bit of a fresh look on this one. So for now, we have this tentative downside resistance line taken from the high of the 19th of August, which is still in play. In a way, I'm curious if this, no, that's not going to be the case. Initially I thought maybe this is going to be a nice falling channel. However, it's not really like that. So of course, what could be the case here is maybe we could see a nice little falling wedge here, a very wide falling wedge. However, maybe that's a little too early to talk about that as well. If we do, let's say, if this was that reversing point, I mean, if this was that reversal here, let's see if it can travel back towards that 21-day EMA. For now, I would say I will stick to the upside if, let me just put this line back on the chart, if it pops back above this 1.9175 zone. If it does, then yes, we could consider maybe a bit of a larger correction here to the upside. For the downside, pretty straightforward. I need to see a drop below this current lowest point of November near that 1.8995 level, and then yes, lower levels could be made, because such a move here would confirm a forthcoming lower low. Quick update on EURUSD. So beautiful reversal, and well, most importantly, it reversed from the area around here. That's the lowest point of November now, the current lowest point of November, and the 1.5357. Beautiful rebound and pushed back to this key resistance area, which I looked at previously as a key support zone, and that's roughly around that 1.5610 territory, around this area, which is also kind of near that 21-day EMA. So if you're looking for some upside, again, a break of that hurdle here and a push above that 21-day EMA might do the trick for a few more buyers. And finally, EURUSD. So again, not much is happening here, so it's a bit of a mess. So that's why I'm just gonna leave it here. And I would like to see if tonight's FOMC meeting kind of does have its nice effect here on the Euro USD. So if you can shake it up a little bit here, because in a way, for now, it's just new. I'm just kind of neutral on this one. I'm just going to continue observing the price action, because for me to consider maybe the downside on this one, I would like to see a drop below this 1.1525 territory, somewhere around here, in order to continue kind of aiming lower. Because don't forget that for now, I mean, looking at this, I mean, it has been, it still is in a downtrend, the pair, and it's trading below this little, well, medium-term downside resistance line taken from the high of the 1st of June. So in other words, I mean, for now, we're kind of overall we're moving lower, but in order to get a little bit more comfortable with the downside, a drop below this 1.1525 level is needed. So guys, that's it for this session. I really hope you found it useful, and thank you very much for watching and listening. I really appreciate your time, so thank you for that. If you want to catch me tomorrow morning, as well as at my traders Espresso, that's 7 o'clock GMT time. For now, have a wonderful trading day, stay safe, have your stop losses in place, and everything will be fine. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.